From 4 News Now, with live updates throughout the day, breaking news as it happens, and weather every 10 minutes. This is KXLY Plus.
Hello, for 4 News Now, I'm Rob King. My guest today is a talented actor who's going to be coming here to Spokane with Broadway musical Come From Away. It's going to be at First Interstate Center for the Arts November 1st through the 3rd. So I'm happy to be chatting today with Hannah-Kathryn Wall. Hannah-Kathryn, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So let's just get started with, tell us a little bit about what Come From Away is about.
Okay, Come From Away. It's honestly just a story of togetherness. I think I like to best explain it as really a 9/12 story. And it just shines a light on some people in Gander, Newfoundland, who came together and, when the tragedy that was 9/11 occurred, instead of staying in that headspace, they were like, what can we do to help? How can we help? How can we be the most active? And yeah, that's really what the show is about. It just talks about how this small group of people just put it upon themselves to create this plan and welcome all these people from all over the world into their town and try to help them through what that day was. And yeah, that's pretty much our show. It just talks about real life connection and togetherness and people just helping out and just being a helping hand. And I really love that about the show.
Now, this is a true story also. I mean, obviously not the singing and dancing part of it, but the fact that these thousands of people, when the September 11th attack happened, were taken to this small Newfoundland town and had to stay there because obviously no flights were coming into the United States. So how do you take a subject matter that's like very obviously very serious and dour as 9/11 and bring sort of a Broadway musical, I don't want to say happiness, but an excitement to it?
I think in a way it's just what these Newfoundlanders did. That's exactly what they did. They followed suit. They were like, well, I think that even just to paraphrase, there's a line in the show where someone asks, they're like, are we going to be ready to do this? And it's like, well, we have to be, don't we? Like that was their choice. And I think they made their choice gracefully and with open arms. And they really wanted to focus on in this human interaction, like how as humans can we just come together and help. And that's how this show came about. It's just these real life stories of what these people did and they didn't do it for any recognition or any prize or anything. They just did it because that's just the kind of people that they are. And from that, you get Come From Away. So yeah.
Absolutely. Now tell us a little bit about your character. It's easy to remember because you, Hannah-Kathryn, your character's name is Hannah.
Yes. So Hannah is her son, Kevin, has sent her on this vacation. And as she's on her way back, the planes are landed, and my character throughout this whole ordeal is so worried about her son, who is a firefighter. And he's with the Rescue 2 unit, and he's like actively trying to help people that are in the towers. And cell service it's not like we know it now. So she's scrambling really for the majority of the show to get in touch with someone, to get in touch with him. And we just follow her journey of trying to be this mother who is worried. And one of her closest friends is Beulah is this open, warm woman who is just trying to like be like, here, Hannah, her son is also a firefighter, so they have that in common. And my character, you can see her be a little like within herself and uptight and just nervous for her son. And then we get to watch her slowly open up and accept this friendship that Beulah is offering. And that's really her journey, just trying to get some kind of communication, some type of contact with her son, Kevin, who she knows is helping, trying to rescue people from the towers.
Now, is your character a specific real person, or were the characters more made up?
My character is based off of a real woman, Hannah O'Rourke, and Beulah is also a real woman, and they are still friends to this day. They actually became friends, and Beulah helped her in these trying times when she was trying to figure out what was happening with Kevin. Um, so yeah, my character is real, as well as her best friend in the show, Beulah. That is real. That is taken straight from their friendship. These two are
Wow.
thieves. Yeah.
Were you able to meet her?
I have not been able to meet her, though I think some people have either gotten in touch with their counterparts or have met them at some point. I'm sure I'll probably be able to meet her in some form or fashion, but everyone's pretty involved, truly. Everyone's pretty involved in showing their support and being like, hey, thanks so much for continuing our story. And it's great, even if it's not my character, it's still great to hear stories of other people that have gotten to meet their real counterparts or have heard from them or have received any kind of support. It's really, really cool.
Absolutely. And you got to think it'll elevate your fellow actors, which ultimately elevates the show.
Yeah, it's great. Like, and so many of our lines and things are things that these people actually said because there was a documentary that was filmed. So a lot of it is real. And we have our questions about things. We're like, oh, like, did this really happen? Did that really happen? And it's funny, like the things that definitely did. Like there was some singing and some dancing because people really were just trying to help people get, ease their minds even for a second.
Yeah,
Um,
you're trying to pass time in a very hard situation. So, yeah,
yeah.
whatever you could do to alleviate some of that.
Hmm.
Absolutely. You've been on tour for a while. It's a big cast. Do you prefer big cast to smaller cast? And what sort of difference is it for you as an actor when you have a lot more people that you're working with?
Um, this is an interesting question. I think it depends on the demands of the show. This show, we have 12 playing cast members, but we have six incredible standbys as well. So I think altogether we're about a crew of like 40 people. And then as far as people on stage, it really doesn't feel much like I guess I don't like take in the number itself. Like it just when I'm on that stage or when I see my standbys or whatever, I'm like, this is just what it's supposed to be, I guess. Um, and even in some of the images you'll see it like that feeling of community and camaraderie. The stage never feels packed, but it also doesn't feel empty, if that makes any sense. Like I think this show has done a great job of I guess keeping it small. Like it's not a big showy dance, you know, type of production, but it doesn't lack. Like the amount of people doesn't lack, and I don't think it's too much or too less. I do think it's like just right, I guess. It just works. It works for the show. It works for the storytelling. It's a very, very, very detailed show. It's very smart. It's
Yeah, I
very
think that's interesting because at where you guys will be performing, First Interstate Center for the Arts, we just had Funny Girl come through, which is sort
Mhm,
of the opposite. It's a smaller cast that they have to put on big stage
mhm,
production for because you need, Fanny Bryce to really be big and showy. So that's kind of interesting to have now that reverse where it's a little more intimate yet more people.
Yes, yes. And this show moves. It really moves. And we all play different characters as well. So we have our main characters. But if you notice, like when in any listing, it's always your character name and others. So
Hmm.
we all like double, triple, quadruple, like our hats, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
So, but I think in that way it works. So you can have the small cast, but it feels like more people because that same group is playing 3 to 4 different characters while on stage.
And when you're on tour and you're going around to all these different towns, has there been any city that maybe you weren't super well known about, but when you went there, they really surprised you?
I have never been out of the country before, and our first engagements were all in Canada.
Oh, wow.
So it was great to see this show in a place where people know this day and this story much differently than we do here in the
Hmm.
States. Um, but it was really great. We actually met a lot of people from Gander just on a whim. Like we'd be in an elevator outside, just like there, it was great for that reason of talking to people and they're just like, oh yeah, I'm from Newfoundland. What?
What a
Like,
small world.
yeah, I'm like, where? I'm just going to the elevator right now. You're telling me about how you know Gander. Like, what? Like, like,
Are they gander snobs and they're like, oh, well, it's not really like that. You don't know
well,
gander.
it's quite literally just how the show is. These people are so welcoming, open to tell a story, open to, make you feel involved, and they're very personable people. It's truly, that's what I mean by it's such a detailed and smart show. It was a studied show, like how they crafted this together. They truly just took the spirit of these people and put it into their musical. Like I we have met different Newfoundlanders from in different states of Canada, and truly the through line of kindness is so seen and felt. Um, it's amazing. It truly has been amazing. I'm blessed to be here. I'm blessed to be able to, get to talk to these people randomly and share with them like, oh my gosh, I'm doing a show about you. Like,
That's got to be super rewarding.
It is. It is a very rewarding show. Sometimes, for a show, usually our show's so fast paced, like we don't really have pauses or anything for much applause or whatever, though audiences are still animated. But usually in a musical, you're waiting until bows to hear all the applause and do all these things. But with this show, at certain places, when we walk on stage, the first thing we do when we walk on stage, like people are already like applauding, and I'm like, wow, like this is like it's a close knit unit with a close knit audience. Like they are very invested in this show, so it does make one feel so like rewarded when you can be a part of that storytelling and give this story to people that are in those seats because that's where they want to be. I cannot explain the feeling.
Awesome. Well, Hannah-Kathryn, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I want to thank you for chatting with me today. I know I'm looking forward to this show. Is there anything else you want to add before I let you go?
No, just come out and see us, and we hope you enjoy it.
Awesome. Hannah-Kathryn Wall, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And like I said at the top, tickets are on sale for Come From Away, First Interstate Center for the Arts, November 1st through the 3rd. You can find the link to those on kxly.com. Well, thanks for watching. The full thing will be up on kxly.com and KXLY Plus if you missed some of it. But for now, in studio, I'm Rob King for 4 News Now.